Take you around DawgNation in 90 seconds. This is DN90. Hello, everybody. I'm Brandon Adams. One of the most talked about members of the 2020 recruiting cycle thus far has been five-star athlete Arik Gilbert. Now, Gilbert has primarily been recruited, at least it seems to be this way, as a tight end. And yet now there may be a growing sentiment that Gilbert could be more than just a tight end at the next level. He might be able to play wide receiver. Counting among those who believe that is former Georgia wide receiver Terrence Edwards, who's also worked as a personal coach with Gilbert. Edwards recently tweeted the very same point, that he believes that Gilbert could play wide receiver or tight end, essentially citing the production that Gilbert's put up as a member of the highly rated Marietta High School program, and the stats that Gilbert has put up there have kind of spoken for themselves. Honestly, Edwards' argument is pretty convincing, and I now believe that if Georgia were to recruit Gilbert as a wide receiver, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad decision. When Jeff Sintel, DawgNation's recruiting insider, made an appearance on DawgNation Daily on Tuesday, I posed that idea to him, and Jeff had an interesting response. Here's what he had to say.
Would that be the most Georgia thing to do if they ended up with Darnell Washington and Theo Johnson at tight end and then Arik Gilbert at wide receiver? Can you imagine a formation, and James Foley could definitely draw it up, with a package that includes maybe a Zamir White on one side of the formation, and then it would have on the other side of the formation a Gilbert, a Washington, and a Johnson all on the other side?
That's a fun notion to think about, and yet had Jeff gone on to talk about Gilbert Longley, he very likely would have mentioned that, let's face it, maybe right now, Gilbert is not necessarily considered UGA to be his leader. Still in the mix for his recruitment, almost for sure. His leader, maybe not quite so. And yet, even if Georgia were to miss out on Gilbert, it would appear the Dogs are still in a really good position for other players of his ilk, including another five-star athlete who's likely to play the tight end position at the college level, Darnell Washington from Las Vegas. Washington on Twitter this week released his top three finalists, Georgia included in that group, along with Tennessee and Miami. So the overall bottom line is, while the Gilbert recruitment's a fascinating one, regardless of what position he plays, even if Georgia were to miss out on him, Dogs could still be in pretty good shape with other elite players, including maybe Darnell Washington. For more on all these recruiting stories as the 2020 cycle heats up, make sure you check out Jeff Sintel at DawgNation.com, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow for another episode of DN90.